I did a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokémon FireRed where every Pokémon was paired up into loving couples in a challenge known as a wedlock. A standard Nuzlocke means when a Pokemon faints, it retires to play Final Fantasy XIV permanently, and I can only catch the first Pokemon encountered in each area. In terms of a wedlock, Pokemon are paired based on gender. While opposite or same gender pairs work, it can only be one or the other for a full playthrough. These pairs can only switch into each other during a battle, no one else but their lover. If one of them kicks the bucket, the heartbroken sweetie left behind must avenge them, and then immediately get over it with either another encounter or something from the box.
If they survive.
There's also no boxing Pokemon. Each pair is a couple for life until potential doomsday, so until 6 Pokemon are obtained, encounters can be re-rolled until the appropriate gender for the unpaired Pokemon can be found. And as a bonus for further strategizing, the double date rule allows a pair to switch to another pair in a battle, but only after both partners have performed a move. There's one use of this per battle, meaning the new pair cannot double date too, needing to handle the rest of the battle on their own. Those are the rules of a wedlock, and for the extensive rules of a standard hardcore Nuzlocke, you can find those on screen right now. Valentine's Day may have passed, but love is eternal, and it's our job to use our bow and arrow to shower the world of Kanto with positivity. Surely becoming champion will showcase the importance of such emotions. Let's get started in Pallet Town. The effects of war have caused several innocents to lose their loved ones. My mother is one such victim in this cruel void that is reality. She understands that I am essential to fixing this region's heartache, and the only way how is to become champion. So I left her as well. Professor Oak grants me the choice to pick Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. To attain love, I have to learn to love those I hadn't considered before, so I chose my usual least favorite of the 3 in Charmander. Not that I hate this little guy, but Romeo will find his Juliet on Route 1, a Pidgey. There are plenty of those about, but Romeo has the eyes to find the one. We also catch another pair in Luigi the Rattata and Daisy the Weedle. Then, while we can't find her mate just yet, Duna the Caterpie also joins us. She's feisty, and man, she deserves a guy who loves getting his butt kicked because as a newly evolved Butterfree, Duna is taking on Brock alone. Brock leads the battle with his Geodude. This Rock for Brains dude bro doesn't have a rock type attack. Geodude is set up fodder in the face of a quad rock weak Butterfree, as we can use Harden over and over to minimize damage from tackle, and later on, Onix's Rock Tomb. We also get lucky with a few Stun Spore paralyzations to minimize damage even further. At plus 6 defense, Duna can safely bring down Geodude with 2 confusions. Now is the aforementioned Onix. Duna leveled up from Geodude's defeat, meaning we can utilize her newly learned Sleep Powder to immediately put Onix to sleep. Compound Eyes allows us to be 99% accurate, which is pretty busted. However, after a confusion, Onix gets a first turn wake up and hits a Rock Tomb. We can survive another non-crit, but that's a risk I'd rather not take, so Onix goes back into the bedroom. 2 more confusions allow us to show the true toxicity of Duna, breaking down Onix for our first gym badge. I have a good/bad feeling about this Butterfree. Depends on how you view it. Well, if Hunter the Spearow has anything to say, it's that he's happy to be in a relationship. You're excavating fossils, good sir. Good thing I have me here a fine couple who are pro fossil finders. Anyway, we have Popo the Paris and Nana the Ekans to find. These two are the beginning of the boxed mons who aren't officially in the pair, despite their nicknames. I will only mention the relevant ones, but just know there's going to be a lot of explaining to do if one of my Pokemon dies. Speaking of, my rival, literally named L, is hate manifested in the form of an 11-year-old. He just shows up with this attitude that no one will ever find attractive whenever he grows up if he doesn't change his ways. Not to mention, brutal in battle. I came into this battle way over my head, because Daisy is just facing down a Pidgeotto 2 levels above her, and I don't understand what in my brain told me this was the best idea. All just smoke up in there. Daisy is doing pitiful damage. You would not believe my shock when Gust does a bunch of damage to my flying weak Pokemon. Luigi on a switch is able to just squeak by with a quick attack kill after a couple turns, but it's far too late with the other quick attack wrap. Both Luigi and Daisy, unfortunately, go down to 1 each due to their low HP. Mamma mia! The spaghetti continues though. Juliet avenges the deceased couple, and is looking to do the same to Elle Squirtle. It's gonna be a while with all these withdraws, but the thing about drawing out the battle is that it means crits are more likely. Romeo cleans up, but he's already lost his Juliet. He deserves a healing heart, because ain't no way you gonna willingly join her. You're hooking up with a snake. Sorry, Popo. Wonder who you'll hook up with now. this situation doesn't seem so dire now. Okay, Popo, you're hooking up with the Condor? But she does work out at the library and will defend you till the end of time after they mess up your McDonald's Happy Meal. So good for you, buckaroo. You got lucky, but I'll need to be luckier for a victory against Misty's water types. She leads with Staryu as we bring out Hunter. Staryu strikes first, hitting a water pulse, which thankfully doesn't confuse or crit. We, on the other hand, hit a peck, which crits in our favor, one-shotting Staryu. Not too sure how I feel about that, since I wanted to set up a double day with the lesser of the 2-star threats out. Well, Starmie is here. We switch to Duna, who gets hit somewhat hard by Water Pulse. She isn't confused and can live another, and it's a good thing this second Water Pulse also doesn't confuse. We're able to put the double star with the Gemini to sleep. With the guaranteed sleep turn, we double date the Condor. I misplay hard here, since I thought Disable would affect the last move used even if it was a few turns ago. Whoops. This bites us as Starmie wakes up and water pulses for good damage. Now I can disable at least, which wastes their turn. We then Psybeam for a fourth of their health, taking a swift in return that made me realize disable was just always pointless. We're close to death's door, so the little shrimp of the relationship in Popo has to carry his weight, taking a water pulse on the switch. A second water pulse also connects, bringing the confusion with it sadly. Popo powers through though for a mediocre leech life. The harm keeps on coming, and then confusion won't even allow Stun Spore to connect. Popo has the saddest existence right now, gets Nana stolen away, and now has to be sacked to the Starmie. Hope you can climb that iceberg in the afterlife. Overall, it looks like a wipe. I fumbled hard here, with mistakes and poor planning all over. No way! The storyline writes itself. Condor wishes for vengeance here, not only for Popo, but for all of us. Even you, Nana. While Misty does heal since confusion isn't enough for the knockout, we're able to keep attacking and hopefully pull through. Is she fiddling with her mustache like a supervillain? Is this her Joker arc? Unfortunately, the Joker seemingly always lives, which is not the case here. But rest easy, Condor, that critical hit and confusion will save us. With a fully character developed Nana, she fights for both, living a non-confusing water pulse and countering back with a fatal poison sting. We won, gaining another gym badge. That was the second gym. How far are we into the video? Well, before speeding things along, did you know people subscribe to the channel, but not all of you? Consider doing such if you want to see me fail at simple tasks, like being normal, like this gym here. For the question of the day, what's your favorite Pokemon type? Pokemon-wise, Grass, since Sceptile is my favorite Pokemon, but element-wise in general, Ice is the one I'm most fond of. Either way, let's get back into my own element. Depressing team-related struggles yet again as we're at 5 deaths, y'all. On our way to Vermilion City, we catch us an oddish named Jack. I skipped the next route's encounter for now. For Surge, he'd be much less annoying if we had a ground type. We can get a guaranteed Diglett encounter to aid us in the eponymous cave. Unless that happens. So we're in an awkward spot, and I want to be honest with you all. Rose the Dugtrio is above the level cap by default, but according to the rules, she can't leave the party. What happens if she's the last to fight Surge after everyone else faints? It's not like I could use a different encounter from a different route because that would also break the rules, so I decide it was for the best to re-roll the encounter and save myself the headache. Welcome, Rosie. Jack will barely see the difference. No, really, I doubt he will. Whether Diglett or Dugtrio, these girls will body Lieutenant Surge. Makes me feel bad since he's the one war veteran who did survive, but Diggs and Magnitudes all one-shot the guy's army of electrics, only suffering damage from one quick attack from Raichu. This results in our easiest gym battle yet for our third badge. Jack, you better take good care of her. I expect you to never let go across these seas of love. May you hold on and never let go of your dear. Wait. Rosie doesn't have hands. Fuck. Wow, good job, Hunter, the now Firo, on soloing this hiker in Rock Tunnel who had 3 rock types. I totally accidentally ran into him and was ready to pay the consequences, but he's got rocks for brains too and refused to use super effective hits consistently. We also find Joker the Mankey here. And hey, Celadon City sure exists. Not only does Hunter ravage the Celadon gym trainers like it's a mall on Black Friday, but Erika's stronger grass types don't fare much better. It's aerial ace after aerial ace after aerial ace. Stun Spore gets mitigated by a Lumberry once, but even when Vileplume is able to set it up the second time, it's far too late. We break through Paralysis easily for yet another incredibly simple gym badge to add to the collection. We're at the point in the game where the level cap jumps way high and there's much more freedom in what we can do. After completely destroying the Rocket Grunts of the game corner in the name of love, we don't battle Giovanni just yet. No, we battle L at the Pokemon Tower first. Is this some kind of genius strategy I have cooking? Nah, this was a different session and I completely forgot I didn't battle Giovanni or have the Self Scope. Anyway, L is here to mourn the loss of his dead Raticate. As for the battle, I noticed in hindsight how not having Gyarados makes things incredibly easy. Hunter and Duna clean him up thanks to the level advantage. Next up is the Rocket Boss Giovanni, aka the leader of the Incels. Notice how every Rocket Grunt in this game is a rude male? The crimes they may be committing across the region to tear apart the foundation of this region's love has me quivering with my box of chocolates. It's our job to put a stop to their loveless propaganda. Again, thanks to the level advantage, Giovanni's first battle is a breeze. Rosie makes him feel the magnitude of the situation to crumple his Onix before we swap into Jack for Rhyhorn. He tail whips, which is pointless for what I have planned, so the Rhinoceros succumbs to an Absorb. Kangaskhan is last, and is actually pretty scary even at this level. I'm expecting a meek fake out, meaning we can somewhat safely double date to Hunter, who is on the receiving end of a Mega Punch. To be blunt, I didn't remember the AI of FireRed and LeafGreen being this stupid, especially since Giovanni, instead of capitalizing on more damage, uses Bite for much less. After our upcoming fly, Hunter hangs on from Mega Punch because of this. After an Aerial Ace, the Incel Brigade's leader is handed his first L from me. We know he's taken many before, but this one stings much more because I am the anti-guy of him. Fighting for the sake of love and peace, yada yada, my motives have been clear. You know what else is clear? These waters where I catch Sonia the Horsey. She'll be our resident surfer in the future, because wow, we did not have a water type member here. Still packing some heat, with Cuddles or whatever. So let's save Silph Co from Team Rocket, who want the Master Ball. Yeah, ball. Master Ball. What? Wow, I'm not funny. Hunter basically solos all the trainers in here for money I can use at the game corner. Until he doesn't. Felt really bad about this one, because I willingly ran into the scientist trainer who would clearly have electric types. Couldn't escape death twice, could ya? At least Duna was able to live, thanks to sleep powder shenanigans. She'll move on to the next guy. But after Hunter had saved you, Duna, I can only imagine your pain in not being able to save him. I would say Duna is also going on a Joker arc like Condor, but well, and as painful as some of these deaths are, not being able to shake up the party can make certain fights more of a struggle. Getting the chance to have Primeape instead of a Fearow that shares weaknesses with Butterfree is good. I will still recognize the deceased love, no matter who it is though, for their efforts to make Kanto remember what it once was is a noble way to pass on. Anyway, our rival is really putting the L in Incel, just vibing about in this horrid situation. Won't even help me put a stop to this mess. We're gonna have to teach him a lesson in manners. Our battle begins with his lead Pidgeot versus Nana the Arbok. Intimidate is always fantastic, making this upcoming wing attack incredibly weak. We then glare to paralyze Pidgeot. Then, after a Screech to harshly lower his defense, 2 strengths are enough to knock the bird out of the sky. We remain healthy thanks to leftovers, but execute means we have to switch out to Romeo, who gets hit with Stun Spore. I didn't prepare a berry for this, but it doesn't bother Romeo too much. After one turn of paralysis that gets us hit by a weak confusion, he burns those eggs away with Flamethrower after they leech seed. Blastoise is up next. Coming through with a moveset that rivals Archie Sharpedo for how abysmal it is, we double date to Jack, who puts the turtle to sleep. Absorb is pitifully weak, but we remain healthy thanks to it. Eventually, Blastoise switches out the Growlithe on the turn we Moonlight to be safe. It's alright. Rosie is capable of living even a crit Flame Wheel, and can retaliate with Dig 2 turns later for the KO. Blastoise comes back out, and so does Jack to handle this thing. He continues his slow, but steady, win con to absorb all the life out of Blastoise. Last up is Alakazam. This guy's sole attack is Future Sight, which doesn't even do psychic type damage. We screw around many a turn trying to put Alakazam to sleep, but we just continuously keep missing. Future Sight is easily survivable, though it does get spooky when Alakazam sets up a Calm Mind. We keep missing a laughable amount of sleep powders to the point that the timing actually works out perfectly when it finally connects. Jack takes the Future Sight before we swap to Rosie while the Spoon Fellow slumbers. The only spooning allowed is between my pairings, so Rosie ends everything with Magnitude. The Alakazam, the building, everyone inside, they're all in danger of this Magnitude 9 earthquake. Oopsies. Well, It's good this building has better structure than anything I've ever written, because we're okay to face off with Giovanni. His squad is utterly embarrassed by the intimacy of a butterfly and pig monkey. Duna can handle Nidorino with sleep powder and Psybeams, while switching to Joker on Rhyhorn puts us in a position to sweep the rest of Giovanni's team. Brick Breaks knock out Rhyhorn and Kangaskhan, while 2 digs bring down the closest woman Giovanni has ever interacted with. This puts a stop to Team Rocket's domination of Silphco and Saffron City as a whole. While we can fight Sabrina right away, I go for the easier of the 2 available gym leaders in Koga instead. He leads with coughing as Duna prepares to cause some terror. Immediately, her psychic is savage enough to put him down. Koga then begins feeding the rest of his toxic Pokemon, as Sleep Powder can put the bulkier ones like Muck to sleep, giving us time to psychic twice, while his other coughing is a simple repeat of the first one. Compound Eyes is incredible for dealing with minimize strats too. Nothing goes wrong as Wheezing faints too, even with Koga's item spam, earning us badge number 5 without taking any damage. Now it's Sabrina's turn, who is possibly the hardest gym leader in the game. She has plenty of strong psychics at her disposal, and we don't have many solutions minus literal firepower. That's what I'll rely on. But so be it. The battle starts off with Kadabra versus Romeo. With the Spoon Enthusiast's frail physical defense, a single wing attack scores us an early KO. Second up is Mr. Mime. We attempt another wing attack Oko, but she survives in the red. Good thing she wastes the turn with Barrier. While Sabrina heals, Flamethrower will ignore her sharply boosted defense, dealing enough damage for another to take her out next turn. Third up is the ideal psychic type for your brain blasting needs, Venomoth. Unfortunately for her, she is weak to fire, letting us click the flamethrower button yet again, mindlessly for another knockout. Last up is Alakazam. Romeo outspeeds and nails him with a wing attack for huge damage. We can live a psychic, but Sabrina opts for a greedy Calm Mind instead. For the second gym in a row, we are damageless, with one final wing attack finishing him off, granting us our 6th badge. And with all the mainland badges we can get out of the way, I'm feeling emotional with these 3 pairs. We've had our ups and downs, but the team is coming together pretty well to square up with anyone that appears before us. We do have to box Rosie for a bit though so that we can reach our next destination. Sonia is too kind for the ride. This is the equivalent of an Uber ride as we arrive at Cinnabar Island. Blaine's gym full of fire is also full of quizzes. There's this one quiz asking if Poliwag evolves 3 times, and I always got it wrong as a kid, thinking they were including Poliwag itself. Just a small nod to my embarrassing beginnings as a Pokemon fan. Anyway, better have Burn Heal, except no items in battle, because Blaine is up. We can't just spam Dig against his fire types due to double intimidating doggos, and clearly we still don't have a surf user on our actual team. What we can do is be a wee bit risky, but if it works out, we sweep the entire battle. To start off, Duna uses Sleep Powder to make the dog have a cat nap. Now we shift over to Joker's gym debut. Growlithe stays asleep here, letting us set up a bulk up. The pupper continues to sleep, which makes me comfortable to go for a second. While Growlithe wakes up this turn, his Fire Blast is just out of range to where a crit would have killed. And because a crit burn or any other oddly specific scenario didn't occur, we ruin Blaine's flooring as we floor him with 4 digs, putting out the flames of revolution that had haunted this land and getting us our second to last badge. It's time to make our way home and head toward the Pokemon League for our final battle. And look what's finally opened up in Viridian City. The gym, where incels never go. Cue my surprise when I see the gym leader is the boss of the brigade I had Control-Alt-Deleted a while ago. Time for one final bout with Giovanni. He starts out with Rhyhorn as we send in Duna. We've taught her Giga Drain, meaning this is a 0-issue Oko on Rhyhorn. The same goes for Giovanni's Ace level 50 Rhyhorn, who shares the same fate as his bro. Third up is yet another Grass-weak Pokemon in Dugtrio. The level advantage makes us faster, so the frail moles get obliterated by Giga Drain as well. Nidoqueen is out 4th. We put her to sleep with, you know what, which will hopefully give us a free turn to Psychic. Giovanni lets us have this, since he cures the sleep with a full heal, wasting his turn for us to fire off a Psychic that puts Nidoqueen in the red. The special defense drop saves us time, as a full restore can't save Nidoqueen from this next Psychic. Nidoking is Giovanni's last Pokemon. Like the Girl Queen, the Guy King is put to sleep. A Psychic then connects, but it barely doesn't KO Nidoking. He also gets the first turn wake up, but the level advantage and the badge boost lets Duna tank Thrash with ease. One more Psychic can then net the knockout. This gets us the final Cantonian gym badge, and apparently Giovanni thinks this was the most goated Pokemon battle of his life. Dude, you got swept by a freaking Butterfree. There's no recovering from that. Unless an urge for self-improvement in Pokemon battling? Huh. Perhaps Giovanni will soon learn the truth of the heart. Here's hoping he'll become an amicable person from here on out without any further plots with Team Rocket. With that out of the way, we can march onward to the Pokemon League with our ragtag of lovers. I would mention our last standard rival battle with L, but it's more of the same from the Silphco fight on how to deal with him. It's off to Victory Road, where Duna also thieves away this black belt. It'll be important for facing off against the Elite Four. However, while I love my team dearly, there has been a weak link in the later stages of the game who I'm not sure would fit. I don't have the heart to force Rosie to die, but I don't think I need to. I think she's suffering from a fate worse than death when she realized what Jack was up to. Rosie felt torn about her doubts of her relationship, questioning what went behind the scenes whenever she left the party. She noticed more and more hints of the budding friendship between Jack and his volunteer surf helper and Sonia the horsey. It all came tumbling down when Rosie arrived home one day after her work at her 3 jobs. She turned on the lights to see her partner and Sonia together, embracing one another. Rosie's 3 brains couldn't mentally handle the shock, and she left without a word. The wind was chillier than usual that night, but Jack didn't care. No Rose lookalike could ever replace his once beloved, so he had moved on after enough grief. The only one with thorns was, ironically, not the Rose. So yeah, Rosie is off the team. Here comes Sonia the Seadra. As we prepare for our final battles, it's also good to note that the Sevi Islands gains us access to the move relearner on 2 islands. This works like most other games, except instead of heart scales, it's 1 big mushroom or 2 tiny mushrooms. The latter can be farmed easily in Mount Moon from Paris. Sent a lot of those guys to say hi to Popo, but in the meantime, this is the final team. You know them, you love them, and they're all gonna showcase the love that they exude. Except for you, Jack. You kinda suck. Not gonna lie. Let's give the Elite Four a very late Happy Valentine's. Lorelei is up first with her eternally cold heart. She attempts to freeze us over with Dugong while we lead Joker. The seal is pretty large though, a great excuse to be one-shot by a super effective low kick. You'll notice I gave the EXP share to another Pokemon. Leveling up my Mons whenever possible will be very helpful for the later Elite Four members. Anyway, Slowbro is here, and while we can survive 2 non-crit surfs, we're gonna cut it close with Return having its own 2-shot. Luckily, Lorelei do be kinda dumb with the use of Amnesia. Special defense up ain't gonna be the play, Ice Queen. Knowing that I can survive a hit and to guarantee Return KOing, we use Bulk Up for a boost. Joker just takes a non-crit surf in return. Leftovers would let us survive another, but with our attack risen, Return brings Slowbro down. Joker also knows Protect, which is ideal for handling Cloyster, whose only attack is a 2-turn move and dive. This allows Joker to stack as many bulk ups as he wants just to be safe. Even with Hail up to neutralize our leftovers, that won't stop Low Kick from cracking that ultra defensive shell. Lorelei's Jinx and Lapras are also both on the receiving end of Joker's buffed attacking power, granting us our first victory over the Elite Four. Our next battle is against Bruno's Fighters. He sends out Onyx while Joker makes a comeback. The worst case scenario as we set up the bulk up needed for a sweep is Roar switching us out forcibly. Rock Tomb would also be awkward, which indeed is what Onyx goes for, so now we'll have to dodge a crit later on. But for now, Brick Break shatters Onyx in 1 shot. The same goes for Bruno's other Onyx, who I didn't expect to come out next. If I did, I would have just set up on this guy, since he doesn't have Roar or Rock Tomb. Either way, the speed drop won't hinder us in defeating the then sent out Hitmonchan with another Brick Break. Now here is Hitmonlee, the one Pokemon who can outspeed us due to that Rock Tomb. He lands his Brick Break, and Joker laughs it up with the Survival. His superior Brick Break OHKOs the Kickboxer without issue. Last up is Machamp, who can survive a Brick Break, but we still got a low kick while holding the Black Belt item, using the Muscle Man's own weight against him for a clean knockout. That's Bruno defeated and the second Elite Four swept by Joker. He'll have his break time though as we square up with Agatha next. Her first Gengar comes through as we send out Nana. I never mentioned this, but thank goodness Nana has Intimidate. Otherwise, I'm working with a Pokemon whose highest IV is 11 in special defense and has 3 or less in every other stat, reaching a grand 22 IVs in total. Possibly the worst Pokemon I've ever had, but at least she also has an attack boosting nature. And as you can see, Agatha's ghosts have physical moves, making Intimidate useful for dealing with them. Even with a double team, 2 Rock Slides land and faint Gengar, only receiving damage from the weakest of Shadow Punches. Haunter is second. she manages to hit a hypnosis right away, and unfortunately, we have leftovers and not a berry. Haunter threatens with Tree Meter, so it's a swap to Romeo, who outspeeds Agatha's entire team. This allows us to go first as we burn away Haunter for a one-shot. Agatha's Golbat can't do much to Romeo besides bank on Confusion or poison Fang badly poisoning. She does neither though, which inevitably, no matter the healing options, ends in Golbat's defeat. Arbok is fourth, who does survive Flamethrower, but she goes for and misses Screech. Another Flamethrower is enough, bringing out Agatha's stronger Gengar. However, we're packing the burning passion of a loving Flamethrower and a devastating Overheat. Overheat is 140 base power, which is more than enough to cremate this ghostly assailant. Agatha is down and out. Last of the Elite Four is the Dragon Master Lance. We're relying on our last duo for this one. It's Gyarados versus Jack the Ripper of Hearts. Our goal is going for a Toxic Stall. That's ironic, but unlike Rosie, I won't let y'all go through the full experience. Just know Moonlight lets us heal off Bite and Dragon Rage, but I'm waiting for Hyper Beam to get a free switch to Sonya. Gyarados doesn't ever go for it though, even when retoxified after Lance had full restored. In fact, he switches out himself. Dragonite is out and I am fearful. Jack stays in the Scout, healing off most of a super effective wing attack with the Moonlight. We're going to have to risk a potential Hyper Beam here, since we can't sack Jack until Gyarados is gone. Luckily, I'm very fortunate that it's another wing attack, which would have barely not crit KO'd Sonya. Now we can outspeed and press that invaluable Ice Beam button for an easy knockout. Lance does love his frozen dragons, as one of his Dragonair is brought out and immediately exposed to absolute zero. Now Gyarados is back out. Jack continues his stalling dominance over this Sea Serpent, but again, he never Hyper Beams when I want him to. You might think this means he'll never use it, but I know my luck. This guy is gonna Hyper Beam on the last possible turn he'll feint a poison, which is indeed the case. While Sonya could easily survive Bite, Twister, or Dragon Rage, this was a huge bait by Lance that I didn't fall for luckily. Aerodactyl is fourth out, who also has Hyper Beam. Playing mind games with Lance, we swap back to Sonya on an Ancient Power. Not an Omni Boost in sight and a crit wouldn't have KO'd. With the Badge Boost, Sonya is faster and drowns Aerodactyl with Surf. Last is Lance's other Dragonair, whose end is the same as his Draconic friends. We have finished off the final member of the Elite Four, completely deathless. This mighty victory will become a beacon of love for all of Kanto to witness as I claim the title of Pokemon League Champion. Wait. There's one more challenge left, Lance? L is the champion? That lowlife scum of the region? He's learned nothing about compassion for battles or the heart throughout this journey, besides possibly a dead rat. No character development, even after all my insane ramblings. I've met countless people throughout Kanto who have learned the values of love thanks to our strength and fortitude. We cannot give up when L is the strongest and setting an appalling example. You know what they say? All is fair in love and war. Our final begins with L's Pidgeot against Sonya. We strike fast and hard with a super effective Ice Beam. While it doesn't KO, Pidgeot only uses Sand Attack to lower Sonya's accuracy. I say that like it's no big deal, and that's because Sonya is bringing her A game by hitting 2 more Ice Beams in a row after L's attempt to heal. This takes down Pidgeot. Second up is Exeggutor, who doesn't have psychic attacks. This means it's super safe for Jack to deal with these eggs through toxic masculinity. Moonlight lets us be healthy as he's whittled away, so the combination of Petal Dance and toxic damage chops down this small tree. Jack is asleep with Sleep Powder though, as Alakazam comes out third. We aren't going to survive this fight without casualties. It's in our best interest for Jack to fall here to allow our other mons a safe switch in. But to my surprise, Alakazam, the Pokemon with an IQ exceeding 5,000, spams Future Sight over and over again like no tomorrow, even after he had set it up already. This gives Jack time to wake up and go for broke with Petal Dances. One lands for just under half his health, and a second just barely doesn't grasp that KO. L heals as I had tried Absorb to finish him off without locking in the Petal Dance, but after Future Sight and Confusion damage, Alakazam finally shatters Jack's mind with Psychic. I don't want to make this sound like a huge loss since Jack is the worst, but thank you for helping us out either way. Not going for Petal Dance there is going to cost another life though. Sonya can outspeed and hit Alakazam with a strong Surf, but the Spoon Enthusiast survives. This time, he's serious, and Psychics yet again, completely destroying Sonya from full health. Didn't know you for long? You have my gratitude. Well, a new pair has their chance in the Champions finale, starting with Romeo. He'll praise the sun with Sunny Day to power up his fire-type attacks. We can survive Psychic, but Alakazam simply recovers anyway. That's only delaying the inevitable by about 1 extra second of the HP bar scrolling as he feints the Flamethrower. The iconic rivalry appears with Blastoise's arrival. With the sun set up, Flamethrower is pretty decent into the Tortoise, especially thanks to a lucky burn. Hydro Pump will be weaker too, or in this case, Blastoise will be too busy trying to set up a rain dance. We just reset the sun, and Blastoise actually whiffs his Hydro Pump attempt. With the sun boost and residual burn damage, Overheat is more than enough to knock out Blastoise. It's Rhydon's turn now. He threatens with rock and ground attacks that can ruin this pair, but I still switch over to Nana for the Intimidate drop. She manages to evade the Rock Tomb, meaning her speed isn't lowered. This lets us go first, firing off an Earthquake that deals over half damage. Nana's luck continues to be wild as we also avoid a Scary Face. And just like before, we're still faster and crack open the ground for one violent Earthquake to KO Rhydon. L's final Pokemon is Arcanine, who demoralizes Nana with Intimidate. I decide to stay in, surviving a Flamethrower that deals slightly under half. We retaliate back with an Earthquake that does a similar amount. Nana is at risk to a crit, so we swap back to Romeo on a resisted Flamethrower that he takes well. Arcanine is going for powerful priority and extreme speed now, but it's minimal damage to Romeo. He can strike with Dragon Claw, putting Arcanine in the perfect range for the KO, but it's also not low enough for any potential full restores. With one final survival of extreme speed, Romeo embraces his inner Dragon Fury to claw away at the legendary dog. This is enough to topple Arcanine over and defeat L's last Pokemon. That means not only have we won the battle, but we've also claimed victory for the entire run. Grow as a person, L. Your grandfather ironically doesn't even love you too. So, that's a Wedlocke, everyone. It's an interesting take on the usual formula. Not limited to a selection of Pokemon, but how you use them. I remember old school videos of these from my childhood, which was the inspiration for doing this run, and it was fun. Bonus double date rule adds a lot of strategy which I really like, since otherwise, it's pretty cruel having to rely on 2 Pokemon in the current party to handle an entire team on their own for the whole playthrough. Can't even change the party until they die, but we made it work for some fun uses of certain Pokemon. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and of course, subscribe if you'd like. Helping out the channel means a lot, and hey, if you want more, the community Discord is in the description. Lots of Pokemon talk over there. Otherwise, I will see y'all next time.